All right. Okay, so let's just get settled into a nice, comfortable, even surface. He can't hear. Can he hear now? He can.
Yes, he can. It was really cute. He says, I can't hear anyone.
Oh, I'm sorry. I will try and find my microphone. I have no idea where it
Luckily
is.
now.
Okay. All right. So let's just get settled into a nice, comfortable seated posture. So I got this chair because it's kind of about the only piece of furniture I can have in this place. It's so small, along with my bed. So I'm able to sit cross-legged in this chair, and it's really comfy. And it also folds out into a bed, so I can have guests. But we have like about this much room anyway. All right, so let's just get settled. If you are sitting in on your chair with your feet down, perhaps they're about hips width apart. That just prevents you from crossing your ankles or crossing your knees. And if you want to get the most out of your meditation, just kind of best to try and keep the body aligned. And then if you're sitting in the regular cross-legged position, um, that's also great. You can be sitting right on top of your sits bones, shoulders aligned with the hips, and your ears aligned with your shoulders. And just imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light, and it's stretching from the base of the spine at the coccyx, all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. You can imagine there is somebody above the crown of your head, just very gently lengthening your spine. Really find a sense of elongating, becoming longer. And take a nice deep breath and just notice the sensation of the air as you're inhaling and exhaling. So you may notice the sensation of the air at the base of the nostrils or at the side. Just be a little aware of that. And then notice if there are any sounds in your environment. So here I am up above a little town called Fairfax, close to a waterfall called the Cascades. There is no sound up here at all. It's absolutely silent. I can't hear anything. So it's quite different to where I was in San Anselmo. It's a lot busier. So try not to follow the sounds with the mind. If you've got people in your home, pets, children, just allow those sounds to be there. And maybe just notice, just for a moment, if you do have sound in your apartment or house or wherever you are, maybe just allow your conscious mind to go and explore that sound for just a moment. Notice it, recognize it, and then bring the mind back and then just go inside a little. So pretty much everyone here is in the US apart from Jay. And I think I also saw Gabe. Yeah. So for you two, it's your daytime. For the rest of us, we're preparing to go inwards for the rest of the evening. So just allow yourself, even for those of you in Australia, just allow yourself this half hour in the middle of your day to go inside. It's almost like you get a I don't know, like a wee mini holiday by doing this practice in the middle of the day. And then just notice what's arising in your mind. And just allow the thoughts to bubble up and then to dissipate. And try not to judge what's there in the mind. And be objective. Just try and observe what's there. And then bring to mind some people of your life. So we all have people in our lives that we just love. They're just such a support for us, such a huge help. And we have profound relationships with these people. And then we have people in our life who we don't really, we don't really get on with as much, or we have a little bit of aversion to. And then there's our strangers. And these relationships shift and change, You might have an extraordinary relationship with someone for a few years, and then somehow the karma changes. And the whole thing is different. And our strangers, these are ones we see on the freeway, they're in the store, they're getting on, they all have their own lives, their own loves, their own grief, their own story. But basically we don't really care. We're very concerned about our own life. But these relationships can change place at any time. It's good to keep remembering that. That's why I repeated it. Because we think everything's set in cement, and it isn't. So then all these people that we have in our life, regardless of how we feel about them at any particular moment, they're all equal in their wish to be happy and their wish to be free from suffering and having this extraordinary capacity for Buddhahood. So I think we'll do this practice for all these people of our life, and by extension, all sentient beings. And Gabe's just asked if we could maybe may add her mum, who's 90 today. Oh, I'm sorry, she has Alzheimer's and dementia. Okay, so let's just motivate for Gabe's mum and all other mums in the world, and all other children in the world who have mums who have Alzheimer's and dementia. It's a painful loss while the person is still alive. So I think we do this practice for all these beings, and then think there is no negativity that can't be purified. So this is a purification process, practice. And we do this practice of Vajrasattva in the context of the four opponent powers. And so we start with the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And so having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we might experience. So we know from our present suffering, we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I don't want any more suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And so we can also just regret any anger, any attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm just sick of suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. We rely upon, we turn to the Buddha Vajrasattva, this is the tanka behind me. The removers were very kind today in enabling me to get this tanka up here without rolling it, so I didn't cause any more damage. So anyway, with this particular Vajrasattva, if all this detail is difficult for you, just imagine on the crown of your head this light body, this healing body of light. So you can see this Buddha Vajrasattva as a doctor who has the methods that we can purify. So we're not looking for a higher power necessarily. We're not looking for anybody, anything to rescue us. We're just purifying ourselves by using his methods. So imagine Vajrasattva on the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. This is if you have a teacher. He's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. There's a beautiful, radiant face, and it's full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. There's this sweet red mouth. His hair is black and tied up in a top knot on the crown of his head. And his arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And they're being crossed represents the union of these two, and this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So here we develop a little bit of compassion. So it's in the section called reliance, because we're relying upon sentient beings in order to generate compassion in our heart. So think of people you have harmed, and then people who've harmed you. And particularly, think about all the people you've harmed and have compassion for them. And then for the people who have harmed you, because of the harm they've caused you, they're going to experience some suffering in the future. So think, okay, so I must purify for their sake. So now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the medicine doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space. Not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajrama mimutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajrama mimutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajrama mimutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajrama mimutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajrama mimutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajrama mimutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mempi yatta sawa kama sita me. Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sapa Ah Hum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. Next is the purification of our speech, and Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra and arcs around and enters your crown, and quite forcefully, and except this time forces up to the top of the body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking about others behind their backs, getting other people to agree with you. And then think about all those times where you sort of blurt things out and you're not really appropriate, or you don't know what thing to say at what time in order to help anyone. So kind of sometimes we lack wisdom in our speech, and we're just kind of rabbiting on regardless of whether anybody wants to hear us or not. So just imagine all of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you, overflowing. Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dinapatita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitam Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dinapatita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mempi yatta sawa kama sitam me. Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dinapatita Dida meboa Situkaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mempi yatta sawa kama sitam me. Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dinapatita Dida meboa Situkaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatta Sawa Kama Sitam Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dinapatita Dida meboa Situkaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatta Sawa Kama Sitam Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dinapatita Dida meboa Situkaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatta Sawa Kama Sitam Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dinapatita Dida meboa Situkaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatta Sawa Kama Sitam Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech. And next is the purification of our mind, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around, and just imagine it enters your crown and fills your entire being. And so, just imagine when you walk into a room, you flick on the switch, and the light instantly dispels the darkness. So just imagine the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, and all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so attachment and neediness and anger and bitterness, depression, resentment, jealousy, grudges, all instantly dispelled, not one atom left as you recite the mantra. Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dinapatita Dida meboa Situkaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anorectum me boa, sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitam me. Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe and Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorectum Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sitam Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe and Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorecta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sitam Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe and Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorectum me boa sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sitam me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dita me boa sutukaya me boa sipokaya me boa anorectum me boa sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sitam me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Humpe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorecta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sitam Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum. So again, be so delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, just imagine these completely gone. And just imagine there's no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness, wisdom, bliss, compassion. And next, we purify even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And imagine Vajrasattva sends light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sutukaya meboa sipokaya meboa anorecta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sitam me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sutukaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anorecta me boa sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sitam me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya Vajrasapa dina patita dita me boa sutukaya me boa sipokaya me boa Anorecta me boa sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sitam me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorecta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sitam Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya Vajrasapa dina patita dita meboa sutukaya meboa sipokaya meboa anorecta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sitam me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya Vajrasapa dina patita dita meboa sutukaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anorecta me boa sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sitam me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya Vajrasapa dina patita dita me boa sutukaya me boa sipokaya me boa Anarakamibawa sawasidi mimbiyatta sawa kama sitame. Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satpa Ah Hum Pe. So now feel completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now the fourth and final step in this purification process, and there's such a crucial one, is this determination to not harm with our body and speech and mind. And without this, we're going to keep doing the same old things over and over again. So this determination, this aspiration to not harm, is like a beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind in new directions. We just have to aspire. We need to have a wish. So just think of something. So for people who've been doing this for a while, just rejoice in your efforts, and maybe something you've been working on. Maybe it's something to do with your speech. I think, well, I've just kind of become aware of this. Bring this to my consciousness, maybe a couple of times a day. Maybe you have a habit to interrupt people or something when they're talking, or you have a habit to sort of check your phone while someone's talking to you. So giving people the impression you're not particularly interested in what you're saying. Maybe you have other things that you do that don't necessarily serve you or others. And just give yourself a sweet little timeline, maybe just 50 seconds. So the timer on your watch, I'll do this at 12 and I'll do it at 6. Just for a minute or so. I'll just keep it simple. So imagine body is delighted with us, wants to merge with your mind and melts into white light and just absorbs into you through your crown. And you can think your teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Rinpoche would recommend to meditate on emptiness. So you can think of, in emptiness, there is no I, the great of negative karma. There is no action of great and negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a moment. You can think of all phenomena are empty. They just don't exist on their own side. They're all a bunch of dependent arisings. So however it is you observe something, it might not necessarily be the way it exists. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created by doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And so then, for those of you who have His Holiness the Dalai Lama as a teacher, you can think, may His Holiness live long. He's getting older now and still continues to teach. So think about that, and then think of, have a strong wish for the swift return. For those of you who have Lama Zopa Rinpoche as a teacher, swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche. And any of you have any kind of teacher, your own Buddhist teacher. They might be Western, or you might even have like a yoga teacher or some other spiritual teacher from another kind of a practice. And because they give you so much in your life, it's not just you pay them, but they're offering so much, and they've worked so hard, and they've given so much up in their own lives to do these practices. So make a strong wish for them to live long as well. All right, everybody. Good night. Hopefully I'll get some sleep tonight. And I will look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And maybe I'll even find my microphone. Okay. All right. Lots of love, everyone. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for hosting, you guys.